Welcome to Deliciously Motivated Mindset, hosted by Deborah and Moira. This podcast is designed to help listeners unlock their full potential, both personally and professionally, so they can thrive, not just survive. Deborah and Moira explore how natural tendencies don't always serve individuals and provide insights on how to harness existing strengths. Their goal is to equip listeners with the habits, mindset shifts, and strategies needed for lasting, meaningful change. Finding purpose and fulfillment can be challenging, but this podcast offers expert conversations, practical advice, and valuable tools to help align with a true sense of purpose and create a more fulfilling life. So grab a notebook, open your notes app, and get ready to take in some game-changing insights. Let's dive in.
Welcome, dear listeners. Welcome, dear Deb.
Hi.
Hello, my dear. Here we are with another one of our deliciously motivated mindset conversations. And this one, I'm really intrigued by this one today. We're going to talk about strategies to raise your influence. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I think that's such an important one, I think. But before we get into our conversation, if you've been listening to us recently, you know that we like to just land here into this space and time and do a wee bit of heart coherence breathing. The whole idea of heart coherence is to really envisage and pretend that you're breathing in and out of your heart space. So I encourage you to take a nice deep breath, and you can, if it feels right for you, put your hand over your heart. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. Just intend that you're breathing into your heart space. And breathe out. And set the intention to find your natural rhythm, but with a longer, deeper, slower breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Allowing yourself to feel the support beneath you, whether you're standing or sitting. Feeling your connection to Mother Earth. Feeling your connection to your heart space. Deeply breathing in. Fully breathing out. And maybe even set an intention to energetically connect with my energy, with Deb's energy, and any other energies that are listening to this episode. Connection is such a beautiful thing to do, to just really help yourself feel soothed, calm your nervous system, and land in the present moment. Just take another nice deep breath. And fully releasing that breath. And just continue with this as we switch gears now and start to take this apart to look at strategies to raise your influence. So we encourage you to grab your note-taking device, whatever that is for you, whether it's a pen, pencil, or electronic device. Strategies to raise your influence. What does this say to you? What does raising your influence mean to you, Deb?
Well, I think this is a great one for everyone's different.
Mm-hmm.
And Moira, your influence, raising your influence will look different to you and will look different to me, which will also look different to my partner, to my family, to my clients. And I think when I started writing these down, I started thinking my strategies. The first is define what your strategy is. And if you can define, your influence, not strategy. Define what your influence is, what you desire, because we were all built differently.
Absolutely.
And some people may want a million followers and people, on social media, and that could be seen as that's their influence. For me, that's not me.
Right.
I'm not a head count on my social media. In fact, even get me on my social media is a fun and games, but it's defining what my influence is, what I desire, and not comparing myself to others.
Oh, that's a tip on itself.
Yeah.
don't compare yourself to others. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think that that's a very important part. So to really uh, be in touch with your own authenticity, your own
Yeah,
uniqueness.
yours.
It's
Yours.
yours, and don't compare to others. Now, the other piece here too that I would bring in here, I just said about authenticity. I think it is so, so important to really, truly lead with your heart influence. You see, what I'm thinking of here is, you know how sometimes coaches might say to you, "Oh, if you want to have a big reach or a good influence, then show up as this, show up
Mm.
as this type of person or this type of catalyst or things of that nature." And I've seen people do that. I've seen people act or talk a certain way, and
Is that
then when you get,
fake it till you make it thing?
well, not
'Cause
really, not
that makes me
really.
cringe.
It's because I know that part, and I've done a wee bit of that, the fake it till you make it idea, but this is when it's not genuine, when you're playing a role or you've
Oh,
got a
okay.
mask on, because in order for people to like me or to accept me or follow me or ask me for advice or guidance, then I have to look a certain way, I have to act a certain way, I have to speak a certain way. However, the people that I'm thinking of that I've seen do that, when I find out who they are, they're completely different. And
Mm.
that's what I'm talking about, is that who you are, the best way to raise your influence is be real. Be unapologetically you. That's the tip. I love that one. Be unapologetically you. I think all that said, that's the tip.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I kind of
Yeah,
went
and
all over the place
I
there.
yeah, and I also wrote down that choose to be authentic over false,
Yes.
which is just another little, which would be unapologetically you. Yes, that's exactly it. And then the next one that follows, that follows,
Flowers.
that flows and follows, that is your circle is important.
Hmm.
You know, if you're hanging out with millionaires, you're going to have a millionaire mindset. If you're hanging out with uh, well, I can't even, if you're hanging out with people who live day by day with their salary, that's the mindset you're going to have. So neither are
Or
wrong.
if you hang out with a lot of people who complain and say how everything's wrong and falling apart and bad,
Yes,
right?
yes, yeah.
Yes.
Um, so who you hang about is really, really important, and that circle is important. So, and it isn't about just wanted to go on a little tangent here. It's not about letting those people go.
Although it
With
could be.
yeah, but not with shame or guilt or
Hmm.
inferiority or anything. It's just knowing in your heart that you're they're perfect the way they are, and it's not who you want to be around anymore.
Yeah.
When you acknowledge that they are perfect the way they are for them, they're just not perfect the way they are for you right now, and
Mhm.
it's okay to let them go. And then that goes back to family too, cutting family. I don't know if I can say cutting family, but then there's that blood, and then there's other. Oh, but they've been my friend. They've been my friend since 10, and I can't let them go. And it's like, but they're doing things that are not conducive for you.
Mhm.
Or oh, but they're family, I can't let them go. Yeah, but if they were family, would you still have them as a friend? Hell no. Well, then they're not your
We were talk
people.
we were talking about that earlier.
Oh
But
yeah, of
you
course, yeah. But so that circle is important, and it's flex. That circle is it can expand, contract, and expand. You can put people in your circle. You can let them out. This is your frickin' circle to define who you want in your circus.
absolutely, and so that brings me into the tip here is trust. Because
Oh
to
yeah.
trust in what you're sharing there makes me think of, how it's said that we vibe with certain people come into our lives for a reason, a season, and a lifetime.
Mm,
And so sometimes if you really feel into my responsibility is to be unapologetically me. That may mean that certain people who I vibed with last year don't vibe with me anymore because they stayed at a certain level or a certain belief system or a certain mindset. Whereas I'm always shifting and up leveling, and I know you are too. And so that's what I'm saying is trust. If I start to feel like, oh gosh, I'm not vibing with these people anymore, doesn't mean there's anything wrong with me or them, but trust says I'm going to allow the evolution of my tribe, of who am I here to influence. And maybe the the crowd or the amount of people, it kind of it grows. If you see my hand, it's kind of like
Yeah, I know.
expanding.
I,
It's like,
yeah, and when I think about what you're saying, also you've got to be cautious that it's not ego
mhm,
versus hustle again. You know, if you're looking to raise your influence, well, I can do this and you can't because you don't have the money. That's
mm.
well, I can go to
Well,
this. Why can't you?
I wasn't coming from there, but
No, no, no,
yeah, I
no,
hear what
no,
you're
no,
saying.
no. But I mean the whole ego. Well, you do that, so why can't that whole that circle? Just check in with yourself and your heart. Going back to that heart coherent. Does well, there you
Mhm.
go. Okay,
There it is.
so how does this make me feel about me?
Yes, there, that question.
Yeah, that's the tip of that because it is that whole. I don't want to be an a-hole and let people go because they're living day by day and I don't want to be a part of that. That's not what this is about. This is about feeling wholesome in your heart and knowing it sits right instead of having a if you're in a turmoil decision, there's
Yeah,
turmoil. But
yeah,
how does this make me feel about me? It's just like, okay, actually, you know what? This does feel uncomfortable. I have to do something, or this feels right.
yeah,
Like there's no question.
yeah.
And then that flow instead of that,
The
oh, that
butting
force.
heads.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that was me punching my hand. Yeah, instead of that clash, 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 it actually
yeah.
just goes, you know what? I don't feel healthy in this relationship that I've got with my friends.
Mhm.
So, or I don't feel healthy at work. I don't feel fulfilled. So, how does this make, if I'm looking to raise my influence and I have to change my job, then it's what I have to do. But it's not a heavy clash. Does that all make sense?
It does. It
I
does.
think to me it does ish.
Ish. Do you know
Yeah.
what it's making me feel though? It's self-care. I'm actually writing sacred
Uh,
self-care because I always like
yeah.
to think of sacred self-care. That it's so important. The idea of raising your influence. It's so important to do your work first, to
Oh,
to
100%.
walk your talk, right? And so it's like if I'm going to talk to you about meditating or about calming your nervous system or about heart coherent breathing, you guaranteed that I've already done my part of that before I even show up anywhere or
Yeah.
have any of these conversations. But it's so important to because sometimes we might be in a situation, might be in an environment where we kind of get, I was saying earlier about being in an environment where people are complaining or saying this is terrible or this is,
Mm.
you know, the world's falling apart or um I can be in an environment of that nature, but I'm going to pretty quickly retreat
Mm.
because that that's not my reality. But I can't influence somebody by changing their story. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Um,
like witness the story, but then remove yourself from the situation.
yeah, and it's important because you are the boss of you again. You
Hmm.
are that boss of you. And just when I was thinking about this, I wrote down love all of them. Love them all.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you've got that judgment on others because they are um Trump followers or not Trump followers, or they are people who live day by day with their salary or they plan ahead. Like if you've got that judgment, that's your judgment and that's holding you back. So if you're going to raise your influence, you have discernment, definitely, but that judgment has to go into your heart, because that's the destroyer, because you're never going to raise your influence if you have and heavy judgment. You can have judgment on people. I have a judgment on people who smell. I mean, I know I have a whole thing. I'm like, whoa, well, don't you need like perfume or deodorant or something? Or and I do, but it won't. It's not going to stop me to raise my influence.
Hmm.
It's going to make me aware. So I guess it's be aware of the difference between judgment and judgment. You know, does that?
Well, this is just discernment versus judgment, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't that what you're talking about?
Yeah, just be aware. Just see
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
And then it does go back to that sacred self-care and how does this make me feel about me?
yeah. Because that's a good example of how does this make me feel about me? Well, it makes me feel uncomfortable. It makes me feel like I'd rather not be in this environment.
Hmm.
So those are guidance. But the thing I love what you said about love everyone as they are, but I'd say love everyone as they are and as you are,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
right? And because then it's like, and that you've been saying for the last few episodes, you've talked about that idea of lean in and lean out.
Mm,
This could be a part of that, right? If you love everyone as they are and as you are, you will realize there are some places and some environments and some people's company that you go, oh, this feels really good. This feels like a big love hug. And then
mm,
there's going to be other ones that you kind of go, okay, but I'm not going to I'm going to lean out, but I'm still in the
mm.
environment. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I you well, if you're going to raise your influence, it is you are the boss of you. It's taking that back, and you make the final decision on everything you want. And
Yes.
if you're not if you're cranky, this is you, not what someone else has done. You haven't controlled, or well, not controlled, you haven't managed your emotions.
Right. And so be
All
the interested observer because
yeah.
that can actually say, oh, maybe this is time to do a PEMS check-in. The PEM,
Mm,
the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Because I can have that happen, um, that I'm irritated or I'm sharp or short. And it's kind of like, oh, I have to, it's nothing outside of me that's created that. Although something outside of me may have alerted me to it, that
yeah.
then I kind of go, okay, so physically, what's going on, emotionally, what's going on, mentally, what's going on, and where do I need to self-soothe
Mm,
or manage my own um my own care in there,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I think that PEMS check-in is really great because it's not an excuse. Well, no wonder I'm yawning. I've had no sleep for 3 days.
Hmm.
Or oh, that makes sense. Or no wonder because I haven't eaten, or no one like it can be seen as an excuse, but it's actually just an alertness. It's just
That's an
showing
awareness,
an
absolutely.
awareness. Yeah, and I think when we think about that, and then it's up to you if you want to change it. You know, um, yeah. I think one of the things when I was thinking about this, strategies to raise your influence is being aligned to you and not jumping into someone else's train.
Mm,
Like what uh um yeah, allowing you to actually feel what feels right for you
right.
and knowing that they're doing this. Oh, that's a quick one. I'm going to jump in there. Actually, does it feel aligned for you? Is it the way you've been brought up? Is it the way you want to live? Or are you desperate to try and find a change and that's what you're going to do? You're going to jump into someone else's, storybook.
Or agenda.
Yeah. Yeah. So just be I know at the start, I said, what is your influence and what do you desire? But just be aware that other people's influence doesn't need to be part of your influence.
Unless you choose it, unless it
Oh, oh yeah,
aligns with
100%.
you. Yeah,
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 yeah.
for sure. And sometimes we can. because there's a sense of creativity in here about raising your influence. So raising your influence is, what is it that you do that you feel like you could do all day long, whether you got paid for it or not, that you absolutely love doing it, that people say, oh, you're so good at this, or oh, I
Yeah.
love it when you do such and such, or I always feel so peaceful or calm or happy or good about myself when you do this.
Yeah.
That's you raising your influence. And sometimes it's the things that we go, oh, yeah, that's nothing, right?
Yeah.
And so it's really a part about noticing. Noticing, what is it? What's your gift? What's your talent? What's the creative sparkle? Right?
And owning that.
Yeah.
And this is me. This is me. This like this is me. This is what I'm good at. This is what I'm not good at. This is what I want to like. This is taking ownership of all of you.
Mm-hmm. All of you. And so because sometimes so taking ownership and responsibility and acceptance and unconditional love of all aspects of you, because sometimes there's, you know how sometimes we can downplay what some people call our shadowy parts,
Yeah.
our darker pieces.
Yeah.
However, when we learn to lovingly accept all, double underline, triple underline, all
In capitals.
aspects, that's when you show up when your wholeness, and that actually is where your power is by the holistic synthesis of the masculine and feminine aspect, the shadow and the light aspect. It's all in each one of us. So it's so important to recognize that in raising your influence, there are going to be some people that go, oh, meh,
And not
that's
everyone likes it. Not everyone. There's people out there just, hashtag there's people out here who don't even listen to our podcast, people. Or people
can you
who don't
believe
even,
that?
I know, what is wrong with them? I bet you they smell too. They don't wear deodorant. Um, but they may have listened to one and they may have gone no more. And that's totally okay. And I think not getting attached to that they don't like me thing goes along that path as well. Is, when you say own your shadow and your light, but
Mm-hmm.
they don't like me, it's like, that's okay. That's okay that they don't like you.
It reminds me of a story, and I think I've shared this with you before. I used to have this teacher who, anytime he met somebody who didn't like him, he'd celebrate. He'd say thank you. He was like, awesome. Now I found somebody that I don't speak to. So then, because then he would put all of his energy and his teaching skills to people that vibed with him.
Yeah.
So it was, to him, it was a gift, because every time somebody went, well, that's not for me, like, great, thank you for being so honest and upfront.
Yeah, I
Because
don't.
you're not my people.
Yeah.
And that's such an important part. We are not here to vibe with every single being on this planet.
Good God, no.
Can you imagine?
No, because you'll be taking in a religion, you'll be taking like you'll be taking yeah. I think yeah, that would just be a whole nother journey when I think about that. I was just thinking when we were thinking about the strategies to raise your influence. People say, like Dr. John D. Martini says, ask quality questions,
Mhm.
which I love, but also be silent and listen.
Oh, for sure. That's the other side of it.
Yeah, so don't just ask question after question after question. I've done a bit of work online lately with people, and I've actually just, well, been partaking in a few groups, and people ask a question. They've got like, oh, and I've got this question for the speaker, and they'll ask a question. They'll go, okay, thanks very much. I've got another one, and it's like,
Oh,
you know what? This person, you've asked a question to the speaker. The speaker has honored you and answered that, and you're like, okay, great. Now I've got another one. No, you didn't even listen and take that in.
mm.
So if you're going to ask a question, ask and then swallow it up.
Digest,
Yeah,
digest
digest
what's,
it.
yeah.
take it back. Don't go, I've got 3 questions here. Don't just take that one question. If you really take it into your heart, that answer, that's enough to get you through. You don't have to go 3 questions. But also, when we think about that questioning, listen.
Mm.
Listen, I talked about this with my partner the other day, and I said, what makes you stand out from other people as a coach?
Mm-hmm.
And she just looks at me like, where are we going on this? Where are we going on this? And I just want to test her a little bit. And she says, I listen. I listen a
Mm.
lot more and I watch a lot more than I do speaking.
Right. Yeah.
Because she said, and then I can observe, like, so she coaches a football team, but she watches the people on the sideline. She watches the referee. She listens to the other man, the other coach yelling at his people. Like, she listens and she can sum up a gazillion things before they even start the game about the other team, who the weakest people are, who the strongest people are, what type of she can just do that and observe. And I guess it goes down to your eyesight as well, like just look. But when you're asking questions or you're look at me, and you're not, it's to be present.
It's to be present, but what you've just described with what she's doing is she's looking at the full
Yeah,
big
the full
picture
spectrum. Yeah.
before she then assesses strategies and players and who's doing what.
Mm.
So I love that. That's such an important technique
Well,
in any part of life, right?
I know, because you think when you go to an event and you do see the speaker, or you go to the event and you see people and you go, oh, I want to talk to her, because of the reason, I mean, I connected with Moira is because I saw her sister's shoes
That's right.
and I went, oh my God, I've got to, yes, raise my influence. I went, I've got to know this woman who's got these amazing shoes. That's literally how Moira and I connected, because I wanted to talk to, and then
To
funnily
my
enough,
sister, and then we sat together for lunch and never we'd had supper together too.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about the shoes, and then I realized, no, I know, but it's the observing, and there is wisdom in the silence,
Yes.
but there's also wisdom in the quality questions, but there's wisdom in the silence because it just unfolds. There's something, but yeah, I really enjoyed when she talked about it. Um,
You're listening to Deliciously Motivated Mindset with Deborah and Moira, here to help listeners unlock their full potential so they can thrive, not just survive. They've shared some very powerful insights so far, so it's time to take a moment to breathe, reflect, and jot down any key takeaways. What's one piece of advice that stands out to apply right away? Before wrapping up, Deborah and Moira would love to hear from everyone. Reach out with thoughts, questions, or feedback, and drop your favorite tip from today's episode. They're inspired to see how listeners are putting these insights into practice. Let's dive back in and finish strong.
how she just sort of described how she just listens and watches, and she can pick up a lot.
I really like that because like we were talking about, I've been attending a few seminars of late myself, and there's a thing that I've been watching about the questions. So first of all, I'll see people say, "Oh, thank you so much. I so value your teaching. You're so insightful. You're so gifted. And here's my question." And it just happened the other day. This
Oh, yeah.
person asked a question, and the presenter gave a really beautiful answer, and then the person asked the question again. She used a few different words, but it was the same question. She actually asked it 3 times.
Oh, see,
I know, and I'm like, okay, so you wanted to tell the teacher how much you admired her and you respected her and you felt this is great place to be, but you just asked the question 3 times, and I think on the third time the teachers the presenter's kind of like, not sure what to say now.
Yeah. Well, I think, yeah. So even there's pick and choose your questions. Well, it's probably actually two. I definitely ask questions to get an answer, but also,
But stay present for the answer. Like,
yeah,
feel it.
yeah,
Yeah. Don't just
not
be engaged in it. Oh, I've got her attention, so I can just fill it up with another
not
question, another
excited. I've got
question.
a chance to. Oh, here's my 3 questions I've written down from all morning. Yeah,
Yeah. But like by staying present, and this is raising your influence too, is that if you're going to keep repeating the same question over and over again, you're raising your influence in not such a good way. Because the other
You're bringing
participants
that
are
up.
kind of like you're taking up
Yeah.
bandwidth. You're you're taking up
Does she not
bandwidth.
know well, that's what media do. And I don't know if you've watch media, and they ask the same question differently.
Right.
It's like the and I go back to COVID. I just remember watching a lot of that, and I learned a lot from watching the media. Then they would ask the prime minister something, and she'd answer it, and then the next person would ask the same question but worded differently. I'd be like, "Did you just
Did
not
you
listen to that
right.
person? Did you just not listen to that person beforehand? Because they asked that same question, and then the next person you'd be like, hang on, Prime Minister's just answering the same question three different ways as I watched it. But that was a great alertness for me to
Mhm.
go, actually, it's the media wanted to ask that question that specific way because they're a unique being as it is. They actually want to ask, they have the exact questioning that's going to be their screen grab. So
Right.
that's why they ask it that way. Because I investigated because I was like, you're all thick. You're asking the same blooming question. I don't understand. She's giving you three different answers. It's the same answer.
Mm.
But then I messaged her, talked to a friend in media, and she said, no, no, no. They have their questions. That's their screen grab. That's their question they want on the title of their article. So they have to ask that before they thing me. And
Right.
I'm like, oh, I thought they were just stupid. This is me. Yeah. I had judgment. I had judgment. They didn't smell, but I had that. I was like, and then I realized so that they have their own media, are a whole brand on their own. But they just want their answer from their
Hmm.
specific thing. So I think the quality questions and be present is incredibly valuable.
Definitely. But I think it's also because sometimes when we are in a group environment, somebody may ask a question, and that's actually to your point right there. Somebody may ask a question using slightly different verbiage, but the answer may actually give you the answer you're looking for. So maybe you
Hmm.
don't need to ask your question,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
So it's staying present, but that's actually going back into that whole big picture,
Hmm.
right? Because there are times I can remember being part, oh, this is big part of a Insight Timer live thing that I did. And it was all these teachers, and there were hundreds and hundreds of us on there. And two or three times I had my hand up to ask a question, but then somebody else asked something similar, and I went, "Oh, I just got the answer." So hand goes down, and then another thing came up, like, "Oh, I want to ask this." So I never ever did speak on that whole. It was a 2 hour long thing that we did
Oh, because it was all answered.
because everything was answered. So that's why I'm saying is that you can have a question. You don't have to be the one that speaks it out. So by
Hmm.
staying very present and aware of all the other dynamics,
That's it.
because we're all connected,
Yeah.
right?
It is
Ev-
it is that be present. It is that be present and not being open. Be present and being open.
yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah. Being open to saying, if you really wanted to know something, then you then surrender and stay open to, I don't know what
mm,
avenue it's going to come in on, but I'm going to get the clarity somehow, right?
yeah. Yeah, I think and I think yes.
Mhm.
I think the key is to acknowledge your whoopsies too. If you do something, like don't shy away from it, acknowledge it and move on.
Mhm.
If you've done something that feels you've got guilt or shame or something, just work on it mentally, and move on from it. Don't let it, let it go.
Let
Don't
it
let
go.
it,
Forgive yourself.
yeah,
Dust
yeah,
it off. Yeah.
yeah. And I think that's that thing because, oh, I'll never be able to do this because one time, I got this money and then I did this with it. Anything like that. Oh, I'm never going to be able to take a job because, you've got these past stories. So just, I don't know how I'm trying to say this is be aware of what your stories you've attached to, but don't yeah, let them go.
Hmm.
Don't hold don't hold on to that old you. because if you're looking to raise your influence, every day we're raising our influence.
Yeah.
You know, every day, if we can level up, and that's okay. And if one day we feel like we're leveling back, that's okay as
That's
well.
okay
But
too. Mhm.
yeah, I don't know.
I wanted to bring gratitude into this
Oh, how did
conversation.
we
Raising your influence is to have gratitude for where you have influenced or where you maybe haven't influenced, and just have gratitude for your own quirky, sparkly vibe of how you do it. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe you have a funny accent, or maybe you
What?
make people giggle.
What? What?
But also, I think developing an attitude of gratitude is to really, soften into the fact that you do influence others, even if
Mm,
it's just as simple as looking at somebody in the eye in the grocery store and smiling. That's it.
yeah.
That you can influence somebody, and this is the other part about raising your influence, is don't get too attached on how you influence. Just understand that showing up and just being authentically you,
Mm,
you are raising your influence. And like I said, it can be as random as even as random as driving down the road and seeing somebody and smiling or waving, or
mm.
right.
Well, that's that change your state that Tony Robbins talks about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Change your state for what? Don't stay in the same place.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Um, be okay to move and change and do it. And yeah, and do it.
and
Yeah.
and and doing that, recognizing that you don't have to see the effect of the
Mm,
influence, right?
yeah.
Because and there is a story, there's many stories about the ripple effect of a random act of kindness, or
Mm,
smiling at somebody. You ended up smiling at somebody who was considering doing something
yeah.
really,
Yeah. You
really
don't know what the other
vile.
person, yeah. Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
know what the other person's dealing with. Yeah.
And so there's your influence. And so by really looking after yourself and being grateful and doing your inner work, and then showing up in your own authentic nature, that's powerful beyond measure, right?
Yeah. Um, I know we are coming up to time. Well, surprise. But I actually just after what you just said, the beautiful words then, I went, where are you doing it now?
Yeah, nice.
Because
Yes.
if you can own, or when you own that, actually I'm raising the influence now. I'm talking to my neighbor and I know I'm her lifeline.
Mm,
Or I'm, making sure my children have a healthy school lunch.
mhm,
Or I'm raising that influence, or I'm asking my friend, is she happy in that relationship? Or I'm talking to looking at myself now and questioning, is the job for me? Like all these different little aspects there. But where are you actually raising your influence now? And if you can start to see that this is not something that's out of reach and unobtainable, because if you can see where you're already doing it, you're just going to go, oh, that's even funnier. I'm doing it everywhere, every day.
it's so
I'm,
natural.
I know
Yeah.
I'm doing it so naturally. Uh, okay, listeners, we're going to get ourselves in trouble here if we don't this up. Well, I will.
Oops.
I will clearly because it's my responsibility to have the timer ready. But let's jump into our strategies to raise your influence. We're going to condense our tips, our strategies.
Hmm. Well,
Um,
we'll make best attempt.
yeah, yeah, we'll do our best. We'll do our best. Moira, do you want to kick the first one off? The
Sure.
strategy to raise your influence. So
Yes.
grab your note-taking device now, people. If you didn't grab it
If
before,
you didn't
quick,
have
quick, quick,
it.
quick, quick, go. Yeah.
So the where we started was we saying that everyone's different. We're all unique. We're all wired differently, and so it's important to define what is your influence.
Mm,
Define your your quirky uniqueness. How do you influence people?
Yeah.
Right?
And then the next one that we started talking about and then actually came to, this is a separate tip,
Mm-hmm.
was don't compare.
Yeah. It's you, uniquely you,
Yeah,
not what others are doing or not doing.
don't compare. That's enough words for that one.
Yep.
Just that's it. Suddenly, yeah.
The next one, I kind of waffled a lot on this next one, but basically distilled it down to saying it's time for you to be unapologetically you. Be
Mm,
authentic over false or pretense. It's about, no, this is about really, really getting in touch with who you truly are and then standing up and unapologetically being you. That's actually a vibe that I've been finding coming up more and more. That whole idea of standing in your own power and unapologetically being you,
ooh la
sharing.
la, what's happening in your world? Um,
Haha.
uh, yeah, I love that. Be unapologetic to you. The next strategy I have is your circle is important
Hmm.
and movable.
Yes.
You can add people in your circle, you can put people out to another other circle. It doesn't mean they're completely gone from the circle. They've just got a whole little different circles going on there. But your circle is important if you're looking to raise your influence.
Definitely. Definitely.
Mm.
And from there, we talked about trust. Because
Yes.
sometimes as people come in and out of the circles, it's not this is when you were talking about, oh gosh, I've been friends with them forevermore, or oh, they're family, or no, if it's not vibing anymore and the circle is diminishing or changing, trust, it's
Mm.
evolving in the best way
Yeah.
for you. You're still the boss, right?
Hmm. Yeah. Trust.
Trust, trust.
And I know, got that
Mhm,
far. And the next strategy I have written down is how does this make me feel about me?
mhm. Such a
Because
powerful question, isn't it?
I know it just brings it back to the heart coherent at the very start that Moira was doing, but just brings us back to actually, if this doesn't feel right, then it's okay. It's the beautiful part is you can actually feel it.
Mhm,
So how does this make me feel about me? If this feels amazing, lean in.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. And then talking about lean in or lean out, um, this actually I'm gonna reverse this because there's another. I skipped a tip, but
Did it
we were
start with
talking
S and C?
we were talking about love everyone as they are as you are, and that's where we went into the lean in and lean out. So acknowledging how and who you are, but loving yourself as you are, and loving everyone else as they are,
Mm,
regardless of what political inclinations or not, right?
yeah. And I'm calling you on one that you've missed.
The sacred self-care.
Yes, what are you
Yes,
doing? This
that's the
like,
one I said I skipped over it. Oops.
oh, yep, no,
Yeah.
I've got that number as number seven.
Hmm.
Number seven is sacred self-care is so important for your soul. It's so important for your influence. It's so important for your mindset. It's so important for those around you.
Hmm.
It's so important for you. If
It
you
is.
are not doing sacred self-care, aka glitter bombing, you you're glitter inspiration, then get yourself back to that because that's the things that allow your heart to beat and keep functioning.
And that's when because I did talk about that, about being, you got to walk your talk. So if you're being of service or you're showing up to raise your influence, then sacred self-care is you filling your cup first in order to
Yeah.
be of best service.
Yeah.
Yes, I knew I had skipped over it, but it was saying lean in and lean out made me go, oh, I have to do that one.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't
That's
even write
why.
down lean in, lean out. Yeah.
That's why. The next one I have is we talked about the PEMS check-in. So what PEMS being physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And so what I was saying is that sometimes we get triggered. We might get triggered by an event or a person or something going on outside of us. And I would take that as an invitation to check in, because if we, if somebody yelling is making us feel nervous or agitated, that's not about them. It's about us that going and go, oh gosh, what do I need to do? What do I need to do to look after my own physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual? Because
Yeah.
triggered, to me, being triggered is a gift. It's like, oh,
Mm.
I have to be a detective.
Celebrate.
Yeah,
Woohoo!
I have to be
Woohoo!
a
I get to
detective
live.
and find out what's going on. What do I need right now?
I know. I
Mhm.
said woohoo really loudly, and the dogs went, "What? What are we doing?" Got
Waking
them.
us up again.
Yeah, they're like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" I'll just be really quiet. The next strategy I have is this is me. This is what I wrote. This is me. And I think about that, and it's not getting into someone else's influence.
Yeah, yeah,
So just being aware of your own influence, going back to what you desire, but just going, actually, that's not me. This
yeah,
is me.
yeah,
And going back to being wholesome yourself, which
definitely.
really flows with the PEMS, because that is actually, this is me today. Today I'm not going to go do this.
Yeah,
Today I'm not going to do that. Today I'm going to do this. This is, and be that flexible.
yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then leading on from that, and I have accept all with like 4 underlines underneath it. We said capital, all aspects of you. This is when we talked about owning your shadow and your light. Because
Mm,
by being wholly, completely us, that's where our power is knowing, yes, I'm good at this and I'm not so good at that, and I have this propensity to overbook myself or to doesn't matter what your story is, but accepting and loving all aspects of you is one of the most powerful ways to
mm.
raise your influence, right? Because you're not, this actually feeds back to the unapologetically you. It's like, yeah, this is who I am. Hi, pleased to meet you.
Yeah, and also if you, yeah, and if you do waver, it's okay.
Mhm.
Like everything's changeable. It's that whole, yeah. But I love the own your shadow as much as your light.
Yeah,
The next one, the next strategy I have is actually two aspects from the word is be present. And with the present comes ask the quality questions
right.
and listen, but
Mhm.
also don't ask any quality questions, just listen, watch, and learn.
Mm.
And both come under the umbrella of being present, because if you're looking to raise your influence and if you're talk, you're going to miss what's happening around you. You're not present.
Yeah,
And if you're listening, and you don't understand it, be okay to ask that quality question. But it's all about being present in the moment and
yeah.
here, right now.
And that's
Yeah.
when I added to that to digest the answer. So I think that's great point is to ask the quality question, but digest the answer, embody it, embrace it, sit with
Mm.
it for a minute. Maybe you need to put your hand on your heart and breathe into it.
Yeah.
But that all comes about from being present.
Mm.
Yeah, I like that. The next one I have, and this was one from you, I like this one. Acknowledge your whoopsies.
Yeah.
So if you feel guilty or shameful about something, just forgive yourself. Be aware of your stories. Be aware of how things went, good or bad in the past, and let go. Stay present. Again, that's actually going back to staying present. It's like,
Mm.
yeah, the last time I tried this, it didn't work out, but that's the past. I'm letting it
Yeah.
go.
Yep. Yep. I love that. And the next one I have is gratitude.
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 Yes.
And gratitude, you've got something to celebrate. Gratitude, you've got something. Gratitude, you haven't got something. Um, where have you not? Just gratitude.
Yeah.
Just it needs one word, gratitude.
Gratitude. Well,
Gratitude
because
for
I added to that one to own your sparkle. Have gratitude and own your sparkle.
own your sparkle.
Yeah.
I didn't write that one down. How did I miss that one?
Oh,
What?
you just embraced it. You
I
embodied
just
it.
was yeah, I embodied it. Yeah, right, actually. And then the last one I have here is actually where are you doing it now?
Mhm.
Are you raising that influence? Because, you know, when we can see we're already doing it, it's not a hard challenge. We're like, oh, I do it every day. I'm doing
Right.
it 4 or 5 times a day. I like, oh, instead of going, oh, where would I start? What do I want to raise? How am I going to do my influence? If you can actually see, own where and when, you demonstrate and display it right now.
Mm-hmm.
You can just go, okay, yeah, I've got it. I've got it. I've got it. There's just that shift in you. Have I missed any apart from a teabag quote?
No, but I just thought that because we right before we talked about that tip that you just shared was that to trust, and this cycles back to trust, that we don't always get to see the ripple effect of our influence. And that's when
Yes.
we were talking about, smiling at somebody in a grocery store or smiling somebody driving by, right? That you are influenced, that is influencing. And so where do you do things like that and just go, I'm just being a nice, warm-hearted, loving person and
Yeah.
flowing that out. That's raising your influence, right?
Doing it already.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Love that.
Well, listeners, that was us summing it up, and we're going to do one teabag quote.
One
One
teabag quote. And
quote.
this is a really epic one for our episode.
I love this. She just pulls one particular one, and it's always perfect.
It always is spot on. So this
know.
one is lift up others with your peaceful presence.
Oh,
I don't know about raising your influence better than that.
that's
Lift up others with your peaceful presence. Isn't that beautiful?
I love that.
I think that one came from my tea that I had last night.
Oh, I love that even more. I love that. By the way,
Yeah.
I'm sure she doesn't leave the tea bag on there. She just takes the
Oh
cloth.
yes, it's just
I'm
I
just
have a
gonna.
wee dish sitting here and they're
Oh,
all
I
just
see
the
the dish.
tags. See?
Oh, oh, yeah. I just had this visualization of you having a bunch of tea bags with the hanging out the side, and I was like, no, I'm
No,
sure more
no.
because I'm like, that's a different type of influence. I would have had judgment on that.
No, now so it's there. You've been introduced to my little
Yeah,
dish
that's
of tea
cute.
bag quotes.
That's cute. I like that dish too. That's
Me
super
too.
cute. Except it's not purple.
It
So
doesn't come in purple.
yeah. So listeners, I love that you have listened to us all the way through and trust that we have raised your influence and given you strategies that are achievable to you.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. Here we go. Are you showing up fully for the life you desire to raise your influence? Are you showing up fully for the life you desire to raise your influence?
Nice
And
question.
I know, even just thinking about that, even when I said that, I could feel my heart going, no, not in some areas,
Mm-hmm.
not in some areas. So I would love everyone now to take a moment and go, what's the most meaningful step? What's the most meaningful step, strategy you can take today to honor your highest inspiration? What's the most meaningful step and strategy today that you can take to honor your highest inspiration?
Yes. And then
So
let us know. Let us know.
as we sign off now, just think about that, write that down, and then drop it in the chat. Let us know because we love hearing these things. We love hearing I merged these two strategies together and this is what I'm creating.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we love this stuff. So keep loving us as we love you. But that's us signing off today. Are you showing up fully for the life you say you desire to raise that influence? Strategies to raise your influence. Debz and Moira on our deliciously motivated mindset conversation. Thank you for joining us, everybody. And thank you, Deborah. And thank you, Moira, for
Thank
your
you, dear
wisdom.
Deborah. Thank you,
And
dear
thank you for
Deborah.
the teabag quotes.
Thank
Thank you for the
you.
teabag. Yeah.
And thank you to your doggies for staying quiet for us.
I know. I know. I was a little bit nervous. I was
Yes.
like, they're going to raise my influence. They're going to get me very present. Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
dear
you.
listeners. We will be back with you for our next one. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning into Deliciously Motivated Mindset with Deborah and Moira, where the mission is to help listeners unlock their full potential and thrive, not just survive. As the episode comes to a close, they trust you've gained some powerful insights. If you haven't already, take a moment to reflect on one key takeaway that you'll apply right away. Before we wrap things up, Deborah and Moira would love to hear from you. Reach out with thoughts, questions, or feedback and drop your favorite tip from today's episode. They're inspired to see how you're putting your insights into action. Thanks for listening, and remember to keep thriving.